Friday morning, and I'm out here in Salt Lake City, Utah. I'm out here in Utah. Let's talk about sundown towns. Sundown towns. Do they still exist? Sundown towns. Make sure you out of here before the sun go down. Don't be caught in this city after the sun go down. Sundown towns. Do they still exist? Does hatred still exist? Does bigotry still exist? Certainly. South of the Mason-Dixon line, where the good old Dixie crash still resides, you're going to always find a sundown town. I live in the state of Mississippi, about 45 miles south of Memphis. A little town called, in Tate County. I live in Tate County. You go on down a little bit farther past Highway 82. You bound to experience hatred because of your skin color. You bound to. Just because you see a integration and a whole lot of mixed relationships and stuff now, don't fool yourself to believing that hatred no longer exists based on a man's color. It would always exist. They try to be more discreet now. But when the opportunity presents itself at the right time, right place, you subject to experience what a lot of our people experienced back in the days in the South. It's getting harder and harder for them to do it with, technology and people everywhere now, and more people are more together. But it's still alive and well. It's still alive and well in the South. There was a sheriff in Arkansas about 3 years ago. That video is on YouTube where he was scolding his wife in the store for just talking to a black man. He got highly pissed. He got highly pissed about it. She was just having a few words with a black man. He got pissed about it. He scolded that woman. How dare you be talking to her in front of me? You know what my friends gonna say about me when they see this stuff? He was serious. They let the sheriff resign before he got fired. Now that's a sheriff. Small town. That song, Try That in a Small Town, I hate that song. Try that in a small town. Yeah. You speaking in code. That sheriff scolded his wife. White men in the South cannot stand for their wives and girlfriends to smile at a brother or have words, like casual passing words. Hey, how you doing? They can't stand it. I have seen that myself. I have seen it. In Texas, one year, out there in Ranger, Texas. I was headed out to California. I was in their Loves. I think it was the Loves. Over by the soda fountain. A white lady, and I was standing there. We just kind of spoke to each other, kind of just getting, we were in her husband walked up and was looking at me so strange, so crazy, like, he didn't say nothing, but I can tell the way he was looking at me and her, like, why the hell you talking to him? All we were doing was having just speaking words, pretty much just something about the, it wasn't nothing to it. Some guys can't stand it. I would never have a fit at my wife for kind of casually speaking to somebody. They don't want their wife to even speak to a brother. I see it. White men down south and white, they don't even speak to you. They make it known and make you see that they're not going to speak to you purposely. But they want us to believe that racism don't exist no more. Where are you living at? For you to say racism don't exist no more, where are you living at? Cause you mingle with a lot of white people. And you have bought into their system, and you turn your head to keep from acknowledging what you see. You go out there and say racism don't exist no more. Cause you force your company up on them, and they learn that they cannot tolerate you. You ready to say racism don't exist no more? See, I got white friends. I love people. I love to have friends white. I'm not racist. I accept it. You come up and talk to me. Talk to anybody. I'd be friending anybody. Come and say I have helped white drivers out here on this road. Need help? I helped you. But to say racism don't exist no more in the United States, you got to be a plum fool. And some of us out here like that. You don't marry a white woman, but you don't marry the white man. Now you ready to go out? Racism don't exist. There's a couple. There's a few. A couple of interracial YouTube people who have fell out over this. Some black women. I know there's one on here. Well, a black woman was married to a big old Caucasian brother. And I think they done split up now. He was racist. What that actress name? Sandra Lee Bullock. She married, what that dude name? Out there in California. Jesse James. She divorced him. Because she found out he was full of hate. He didn't like her kids. He didn't like black folks. This was just a few years back. I don't think she been married since. Beautiful lady. Beautiful. They all among us. You're going to get a heavy dose of it in the South. When the opportunity presents itself, you're going to get a heavy dose of it. I had a young lady a few years ago. She was from down there around Starkville, Mississippi. She started crying when she was talking to me about it. She started crying. She said she actually saw Klansmen somewhere out there having a bonfire, having a meeting. They were burning crosses. She saw it. She started crying. This was back in the 2000s. The Klan membership is on the rise. Trump himself is a Dixiecrat. Trump favor the Klans. Sundown towns. Yeah, it's not as bad as it used to be, but they are still on police forces. That's where you're going to find them the most. You want me to believe racism don't exist? You got to do more than just say, well, what's wrong with y'all? Y'all want to blame us for what our ancestors did and whatever. Y'all can't hold against us. No. But it's still alive. There's some people right now, black folks all across the South, can have first-hand testimony. There are some white cops down there around Jackson, Mississippi, that just recently got in trouble for what they were doing. They buried, they killed a black man and buried his body. When the family found out about it, he was already buried. They lynched him and killed him and buried him. He went missing. The police department had already knew what was going on with him. They hid it from the family. That was one case. Then we got a case of 4 or 5 white cops is in trouble now in Jackson, Mississippi for doing the same thing. You mess around and get caught by the right people, behind the badges, in the right place at the wrong time, you subject to experience. The farther south you go, the heavier it get. Some strange stuff. Look it up. Sundown towns. Yeah, that's it. South of the Mason-Dixon. Their brother, their young truck driver brother got lynched up there in North Carolina. It's more heavy south of the Mason-Dixon line, but you still going to experience it, pockets of it, throughout the United States. You're going to still experience pockets of hatred. It would always be. But if you listen to people like Morgan Freeman talking about, well, if you wanted to go away, the best thing is not to do is talk about it. That's a lot. The best thing to do is not talk about it. Where did Morgan Freeman get that bull jive from? That kind of talk is exactly what they want. That's exactly the kind of talk they want, the bigots. They appreciate that kind of talk coming from people like Morgan Freeman. Don't talk about it. Can you imagine if you go back in the day, if people never talked about it? That's exactly what they want. Don't talk about it. Be quiet about it. Therefore, continue to let it go on. Okay, I seen this. I don't say nothing about it. For the sake of my acting career, for the sake of my popularity, I'm going to try to stay in the middle of the road. I ain't going to say it don't exist, but I'm just going to say ignore it and don't talk about it. Morgan Freeman got good reason to take that avenue. Morgan Freeman loved him some white women. Black people that talk like that, they have reasons. In most cases, they love them. You know, you can marry anybody you want to marry. I'm not against. When I see interracial, hey, more power to you. But we can't act like the possibility is not there. White people, Southern white people, they never liked the fact of integration. Integrating. Back here in 2000, back here a few years ago, when the country started removing all them Confederate monuments and statues, the good old Dixiecrats couldn't stand it. They still don't like it. They had Robert E. Lee statues all over the South. When you go into the courthouses in the South, you're seeing Robert E. Lee statues and stuff like that. They had a statue. They had him on a horse downtown Memphis, out by the hospital. I didn't know he was buried there. When I seen it on the news, they gonna remove that statue, and then they got to remove his body, his burial. I didn't know he was buried there. And my wife said, "He buried there?" She said, "Yeah." I ain't never knew. I thought there was just a statue. But that park name or whatever that park is over there by the hospital down there in Memphis. Them white supremacists in the South, a lot of them good old preachers, pastors, swaggers, Robinsons, Duck Dynasty, they couldn't stand that. They hate that with a passion, that them statues and memorials got removed, taken down. They can't stand it. Go down to Louisiana, Mississippi, you think racism don't exist no more. Alabama. You gonna soon find out. Brandon Tatum, Candace Owens, and all them other sellouts because they don't got them a white spouse. You think you good now. I seen Candace Owens picture. Baby shower picture or something. A lot of people say ain't a black face nowhere to be found. Want me to believe this woman ain't racist towards her own people? It's okay to marry whoever you want, because the Bible gives us that, we all are human. But you gonna marry somebody outside of your race, then you gravitate to them. You want to, you know what I'm saying? A lot of us marry because that's who they want. That's who they prefer to be around. White people. It should never be like that. Therefore, you're going to say racism don't exist no more. Black folks are stupid and crazy for believing in racism and talking about racism nowadays. You got to be out of your ever-loving mind to take that stand. These jokers down in the South don't hesitate to let you know they don't like it. These white folk. They won't hesitate. They try to talk in code and try to say, they don't hesitate, but I'm the one I don't care. As long as you don't attack me or whatnot, I hear them talking in public and stuff they say. It don't really too much bother me. But I will question you. If I feel like something ain't right, I ask you. You hate a man because his skin color? I have asked them in the past. I don't want to be trying to, wait a minute, no, I ain't racist. Okay, well, why you talking like this then? I've been in truck stops. Walked in, white man one time was talking at the bar, talking about politics, talking about Obama, talking about this, right? And nobody but white folks. I walked there and sat down. Everybody started looking at me. He didn't see me. They looked at me, pointed at me, and he turned around like, oh. Started making something like a comment or whatever. I'll keep talking what you're saying. Don't stop talking now. I sat there and ate my food. Ordered my food and ate it. That's what they do now. They try to hide. They'll talk amongst them folks. Talk, then you come in and somebody in public. See how they change in public? Yeah. Sundown town. They still exist.